Marvel's Iron Fist. It's the last Netflix show leading into the Defenders. Is it any good? Let's find out. Hey, what's up, you guys? FilmFan0599 here again, and today we're going to review Season 1 of Marvel's Iron Fist. So, before we get into my review of Season 1, I just want to let you guys know that, of course, like with my other TV show reviews, there will be spoilers, because I go in depth with these things, so there will be, indeed, spoilers in this review. However, if you have seen the season, or if you just don't care about spoilers, continue on watching, but if you haven't seen the season, I really don't recommend watching this because there will be spoilers. So, you've been warned, there's spoilers, let's get into the review. So, what Season 1 of Marvel's Iron Fist is basically about, it's about this guy named Danny Rand. And he got into a real bad plane crash when he was a kid, killed both of his parents. And he gets basically brought into this, place to learn martial arts and become the Iron Fist. And when he returns back to New York 15 years later, you know, people are like, wait, he's still alive? And now also he has to deal with the Hand in New York as well. So, what did I think of Marvel's Iron Fist Season 1? You know, I was really excited for this season. I know a lot of people were kind of being like, I'm not too sure about it. But I was really excited. I think it looked really cool. Looked very different from the other Marvel shows. That's for sure. So I was very excited to see what they could do. Kind of like a martial arts background type of show. And, you know, the show's been getting kind of not great reviews and everything. And, you know, I went into it with an open mind, of course, like I always do. I was like, alright, I just want this to at least be good. I want to at least enjoy it. Because, you know what, I've been enjoying these Marvel Netflix shows. I love Daredevil Season 1 and especially Season 2. I enjoyed Jessica Jones. It's a bit overrated, but I still really enjoyed it. It's still a good season, not great. And Luke Cage, that was kind of really overhyped. It wasn't really that good to me. So, I still had expectations for Iron Fist, and I will say, it did indeed, you know, fulfilled my expectations. I honestly loved Iron Fist. It's such a great, because the thing with the reviews, you know, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people are getting boredom mixed up with, you know, character building and, you know, story building. Because that's what they do in this show. They're building these characters. They're building these stories. So then that way you can care more throughout the entire series. And that's what I like about this. It's not like, oh, we need an action scene every 5 seconds. No, let's just try to build these characters and see where we can go with them. And that's what I love about this series. It tries to build these characters, and it definitely does an excellent job of that. Like, it builds these characters so much, and that's what I love, you know, because then that's what makes these characters interesting. And honestly, I loved mostly every character in this season. Like, they did such a great job with that. It was a great character-building season, and there was really barely any times I was bored, honestly. So, yeah. So let's get into what I loved about the series. So let's get into it. So my first positive is going to be the acting with the season. But the acting was actually really great in this season. Everyone did a really good job. Finn Jones as, you know, Danny Rand / the Iron Fist. I thought he was great. I really did. He really embodied this character and did a great job with it. Now, I'm not going to, act like I'm, some Iron Fist expert or anything. I really am not. I've heard of the character, I've seen him in a couple of cartoons, that's about it. I really don't know his background, what he can really do, and, seeing what he could do in this season was really interesting, and I thought Finn Jones did a really good job as the character. He was honestly, to me, him and another character I'll mention just after I'm done with him, were my favorite characters in this entire season, really, because they just do such a great job in this, you know, he does a really good job in this season. I really enjoyed him. He really embodied this character. And you honestly really care for him because, you know, he's been gone for 15 years. You know, he just wants to kind of sort of make things right, but he really can't while also trying to deal with the Hand in New York. You know, it's a lot to take in. I mean, when you're the Iron Fist, the sword, you know, the sword defender of, you know, the Hand, like defeating the Hand, it's a difficult task, okay? And he does a really great job at that. I really think Finn Jones did a really great job as Danny Rand / Iron Fist. Jessica Henwick, I believe that's how you say her last name. She was great as Colleen Wing. I really enjoyed her in this season. She was definitely a really good character. I really enjoyed her. I really enjoyed what they did with her character as well. Like, her bond between... I thought it was going to be really forced. But their bond between each other, between Danny and, Colleen, was actually great. It really was. I really enjoyed it. It didn't really feel forced to me. That's what I was nervous about. While watching the first couple of episodes, I was like, this is going to feel so forced. But no, when they start, building the relationship a lot more, it's actually very, very, how I want to say, well put and well paced. Like, it's not very rushed. It's not like they're forcing these two to be in love with each other. It's actually really well thought out, actually, and I can appreciate that wholeheartedly. I can fully appreciate that. And, Jessica Henwick did a really good job as, Colleen Wing in this, season. I thought she was really good. The guy who plays Ward, besides Danny, he was the best character in this season. Like, he did such a fantastic job as his character. Like, you kind of, you hate Ward at first. But then once the season goes through, you're like, oh, I kind of somewhat feel bad for this guy now. In some ways, you know what I mean? But I thought the guy who played Ward did a really great job. And I honestly really enjoyed him in this season. He was a very intriguing character. And props to the guy that played him. He did such a great job in this season. The woman that plays Joy as well, she was great too. I really enjoyed her as well. The guy who plays Harold did a very good job as well. So yeah, the acting is really great in this season. I really thought everyone did a really great job in this season. The acting was very, very good in my eyes. So yeah, the action sequences are fantastic. And I know what people... It was one action scene. It was one action scene that was horribly filmed. That's it. I swear, like, all these reviews are just talking about that one action scene. What about the action scene with the hallway fight in episode 4? Or the tournament battle in episode 6? Like, seriously, there's so many other great action scenes. When Davos and Danny are fighting the guys, like, in episode 10, I believe. Or 11, it was one of those episodes. Great! Like, seriously, like, there's some really great action scenes in this season. Like, I really loved a lot of the action scenes in this season. Like, they were very well filmed. They were very well edited, honestly. I thought they were just really great action scenes. So, yeah, don't let that one action scene in episode 3... Yeah, it was a pretty horribly edited scene, but don't let that one action scene affect your whole, opinion on the other action scenes. Because they're really great. They honestly are. Like, I seriously thought, besides that one action scene, every other action scene was really great in this, season. So, yeah. Like I said, I did like the relationship between Danny and, Colleen. It was, like I said, very well, put, not very well put. It was very, very neutral. You know what I mean? It was very neutral, didn't feel forced. It really felt like a neutral relationship between these two. And I really liked that the, writers of the show made it feel neutral instead of very forced. You know what I mean? So, yeah. The writing was really great too. I love the writing with this series. I thought it was very well written. You know what I mean? Very well written. Honestly, I really did think so. The directing was great. Very well, very good cinematography. I really liked the way it was filmed, this show. All the Netflix shows are filmed very well, honestly. And it was another very well filmed, series. I thought the directing was all great. Like RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan, okay, directed episode 6, okay. I find it funny they got my boy RZA to direct an episode of Iron Fist. That's awesome. So yeah, the directing was really great in this season. I absolutely love the directing in this season. Very, very great directing. And the pacing was honestly great with this season. I thought it really moved at a very nice, natural pace because, like I said, people have been saying, like, it's slow, like, it's dull, it's boring, because of the business stuff. Here's the thing, to me, the business stuff would be boring if the characters weren't interesting in that. And the characters were. Like, Ward was so interesting. Like, my eyes were glued to the screen whenever that guy was on screen. Like, seriously. So that's what the business. I thought the business stuff was great because of the characters. Really, the characters are really what made those scenes great, and that's why I loved about them. And like I said, I feel like people were kind of going into this series expecting like an all-out martial arts, like just kind of like just every 5 seconds it's a martial arts fight, like action fight scene. That's why I figured people were going into this, like going into this show thinking, and it's not that really, and that's why I really like actually that focuses a lot more on the characters, because I like when shows or movies or video games or whatever like focus on their characters first and their actions second. You know what I mean? I like that because you need to focus on your characters, because that's really the most important thing of anything really, is your characters, these people that we're following through in this story. You know what I mean? And they definitely do a great job of really fleshing out these characters in a way where you can actually care for these characters. And that's why I think, I don't mean to be that person like, oh, they're missing the point, but I feel like that's what some people are missing. If you don't enjoy the series, that's fine, but I feel like some people are missing the fact that they want to focus on their characters more instead of giving an action scene every 5 seconds, if you know what I mean. So yeah. And lastly, the soundtrack. That's what I feel like a lot of people are not mentioning. The soundtrack is great to this. This might be my favorite soundtrack out of any of the Marvel Netflix shows. Because holy moly, the soundtrack really works in this season. Like, especially the music and the fight scene in the hallway fight in episode 4. Excellent. Like, some just great music. I loved how it really fit with a lot of the scenes it was in. So yeah, it just had a really great soundtrack. I feel like a lot of people are not really talking about that because it had a really great soundtrack to it. So yeah. Now, as we all do, as I do with these TV show reviews now, the 6 defining moments of the season. So, let's get into it. First, when episode 1, when he returns back to New York. Literally the opening scene, really. Literally, like, the whole opening to the, series, really, if you really want to think about it. I liked that. I liked seeing that, like, you know, he's returning to New York. Obviously, everyone thinks he's, you know, lying about who he is and everything. It was just a great scene. Like, he's just trying to tell people, hey, I'm Danny Rand, you know. And it was just great. It was honestly a great scene and really set up what the series was going to do. And it did an excellent job, really. So, yeah. Next up, when we first see him use the Iron Fist, it's in episode 2. It's like towards the end because they put him in like a psychiatric hospital because they think he's crazy. So when they try to transfer to a different one, these guys start beating him up and we see his fist glowing. And that's when we know he's about to use the Iron Fist. And that moment when he first uses the Iron Fist was really cool. And like you see what this guy can do with just his one fist. And it's awesome. Like he breaks through a wall to escape. Amazing. I loved it. It was so cool. It was definitely worth the wait. Like, they were building it up. They really were. And it was worth the wait, and it was awesome. When Ward kills his father in episode, at the end of episode 7, he kills his father. And, you know, then, you know, he thinks he's dead and everything. But once we see in the beginning of episode 9, he's still alive. Like he comes back to life. And we learn that he can't die. He is basically immune to death. He can't die, and, you know, this causes a problem, obviously, for Ward. So, yeah, that was just a great moment because it just really showed that, you know, Ward did something really terrible, and it came back to, you know, bite him in the butt. And I just thought that was a great moment. I really did like that. And it was just like, oh boy, this is not good for him. So, yeah. When Danny learns that Kai-Lan has been with the Hand the entire time because her mentor, they're a part of the good Hand, but they're really not. They're just as bad, really, as the other Hand, really. And, yeah, that's what Kai-Lan starts to learn about as well. And, like I said, and then his partner Davos comes in. It was awesome. And then they have this, like, huge action scene where they just fight everybody in the place. So, yeah, that was great. And, you know, that was just a great moment because he learns the truth. He learns he's been lied to this entire time. And just that whole scene between him and Kai-Lan was really great, too. So, yeah. Now, next up, the next moment I want to talk about happens at the, happens towards, it's like the finale to, episode 12. And, that's when, you know, Kai-Lan fights her master, her mentor. And that was great. It was a really well-filmed sword fight. And it was just very brutal. Like, and Kylan was about to kill him, but she knows she can't do it. And Danny can't do it either because he knows this is a different world. This world has consequences. But then Davos is like, if you're not going to do it, then I'm going to do it. So he kills him. He's dead. And Danny obviously is not happy with Davos. And then Danny and Davos get into a huge fight with each other. I'm not talking an argument fight. No, they get into a fist fight with each other. And it was really great. It was really well filmed. I actually really loved it. It was very well filmed, like I said, very, very brutal as well. And then when Danny kind of gives like a speech to him right when his fist goes, he's like, I'm both Danny and the Iron Fist. I can do whatever I want. And like it just gives like a very good monologue. And I really liked that. It was really great. I really enjoyed that. So yeah. And obviously Davos is disappointed in him and everything. And now the last moment I want to talk about, mostly this is episode 13 if you really want to think about it. This is basically the entirety of episode 13 for the most part. Danny gets framed by Harold. He gets framed that he has been smuggling drugs, and the DEA is after him, and it's just a huge chase now. Like, the last episode is like a huge chase. And Danny learns the truth that Harold was the one that got his parents into a plane crash. He's the reason why his parents are dead. And now, obviously, Danny's not happy with that and everything. So, when they go to, Rand Intercorp, I believe that was what it was called. And that whole scene was really cool. And it was very, it was just awesome. It was a great way to have just one big final action scene. And when Danny's hand glows, and he basically just punches the ground, everything. It's probably my favorite moment in this entire season. Everything just erupts. Like that whole floor of the building breaks. It erupts because just of how powerful his Iron Fist is. It was awesome. Like cables were flying. Like glass was everywhere. Bodies were literally flying. It was just a great moment. It definitely probably was my favorite moment in the entire season. And then once we get towards the end where, Harold's like, you know what? Just kill me and whatever, and he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then once, Harold tries to shoot him, Danny literally blocks him with his Iron Fist. It was so awesome, like he was like, boom, and it was just so cool. And then Ward kills Harold and everything, and they burn his body. So yeah, so those were the 6 defining moments. Now, in terms of issues I have with season 1, there's just a couple. I did think some of the acting could be stiff at times. There were some times where the acting was a bit stiff, and it kind of just a little bit stiff at times. Like Finn Jones can be, although for the most part, like I say, he was great. There were some times where I did think he was stiff, and some of the other actors too can be a little bit stiff at times. And the show can be a little slow at times. I will admit, where I was like, okay, you can pick up the pace at this point. But that was just a little bit. Like, it was a little slow at times for me. So, yeah. So, overall, I do think Season 1 of Iron Fist is really underrated. I think it's honestly a great show. And it definitely does not deserve the hate it has right now. Because it was just a really well-thought-out, character-driven season. And I absolutely loved it. So, yeah. Season 1 of Iron Fist. And it's time for my official grade on Season 1 of Marvel's Iron Fist. And my official grade on Season 1 of Marvel's Iron Fist is an A-. It's a great season. It's honestly my second favorite series. It's Daredevil, then it's this, honestly, because I loved it. Like, I loved it, and it's definitely great. I want there to be a season 2 because I want to see more of Danny Rand's story. It was just phenomenal. It was fantastic. I loved it. Definitely deserves an A-. So what did you guys think of Marvel's Iron Fist? Leave in the comment section below. I'm FilmFan0599, and we'll see you all later. Peace.